Hello and welcome to Startline, brought to you by the Manx Motorcycle Club. I'm Beth Espy, and this podcast is about everything road racing, both on the Isle of Man and further afield. From the races and the teams to the organisers and officials, it is all here on Startline. Thank you so much for downloading this episode and for supporting the Startline podcast. It's really, really appreciated. You know, so far in this series, we've met a lot of newcomers, most of them chasing a dream at the Manx Grand Prix. But today is a little bit different because today we are meeting a TT newcomer. And not just that, this is someone who is completely new to racing on the Isle of Man altogether. Because here's the thing. Rhys Stevenson has never even stood on the sidelines and watched a race on the mountain course. The first time he'll truly experience it will be when he drops down Bray Hill on that newcomer's lap. Well, I caught up with Rhys, his dad Mark and Eddie Allen, all from the Rocket Racing team while they were over on the island getting some laps in. And we chat about where the team name Rocket Racing came from, why Mum Tracey is really the one holding it all together, even if she can't quite bring herself to watch. And of course, where on earth do you keep all your trophies when you currently don't have a house?
Hello, my name's Rhys Stevenson. I'm 20 years old. I live in Skegness in Lincolnshire, England, and this year I'm racing at the Isle of Man TT.
Hello, I'm Mark Stevenson. I'm Rhys's father, and I am pretty much the owner of the team.
Hi, I'm Eddie Allen. I'm from Bedfordshire. I'm almost 60 years of age, and I'm part of the team and predominantly here to help Rhys achieve his goal.
Well, fantastic. It's brilliant to see you all here, and thank you for taking the time to pop in because, Rhys, obviously a massive year for you. Just talk us through where your racing career started, first of all.
Well, it all started in the back garden. At 5 years old, Dad put me on a motorbike, and then it's just gone from there. At 10 years old, I was racing on the beach at Mablethorpe. I won my first championship at 11 or 12 years old, I believe. Then we moved on to tarmac on the mini bikes on go-kart circuits. Moved up through there, won a couple of championships there. Then we moved into what's now known as the British Moto 4 Championship. It was the British Talent Cup. So I did 3 years there, and in my second year there I got promoted to Red Bull Rookies. So we did a year out with the MotoGP, which was amazing, a great experience. And then we came back from that in 2024 and did 2 years of the National Sport Bike over in the UK. And I'm doing that this year as well as the TT alongside it.
OK, so I just want to come to Dad Mark here. Presumably you've always had an interest in bikes, have you?
I have, yes, for many, many years.
How far did you take that? Were you a racer yourself?
I was, yeah. I started racing quite late in life, actually. It wasn't until Rhys was born that I started racing, because I was riding pretty much on the public highway. And I was told that I really needed to stop because I was a little bit quick and thought maybe something might happen now that I've got a son. I really needed to take care of myself. So I decided to go circuit racing with a view to eventually passing on to Rhys, which I now have done.
And I take it there was no doubt that as soon as you popped that bike in the garden, you went round, that was it.
Yep. Once we put him on a PW50 of all things, which we've still got, he just took to it like a duck to water. Spent a few years learning to ride that and a few other little bikes. But yeah, brilliant. I'm so proud of him that I think, I can't believe we're here, to be fair.
And is there any part of you, Mark, that thinks, oh, I wish I'd done what he's doing?
I had actually intentions to do this, but decided that maybe it would be better if I took care of the family and allowed Rhys to be able to come and do this.
That's lovely. And I guess, Rhys, from your point of view, that's a really lovely thing as well. And to have that support and somebody who just, wants to see you going out there and live your dream is lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. We sold the house that we were living in to build a house, and then all the money from the house building went on motorbikes. So the whole family is massively invested into mine and my brother's career. It's such a big thing for us. There's nothing else except for motorbikes, really.
So what does your brother do?
At the moment he's running, well, I say at the moment he will be running in the Moto 4 Championship that I was in a few years ago. But
That's
he
his
has
second year now, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, his second year. But he has given himself an injury, which means he might be missing the first half of the season.
Oh, gutting. Eddie, talk to us about where you fit into this whole picture and how you came to be involved.
Well, I first met Rhys 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And the team I was with then, we brought him over to Derby to do some racing on Derby on one of the team bikes. We showed him some laps in the car. Rhys was like, wow, I really want to do this.
Oh, yes.
Dad was in the back going, wow, I really don't want him to do this. But obviously I think Rhys's persuasion has sort of taken effect. The previous team I left, and before the season started last year, Mark contacted me and said, would you like to come and help the team? We've taken on Daniel onto the British Talent Cup, now Moto 4. We need an extra pair of hands, and he liked the way I worked. So my girlfriend went, I'm pleased because I can't put up with you being at home all the summer. So please just go off, continue your paddock plans and have fun. So I then joined Rocket Racing. Mark, lovely guy. Rhys, fabulous guy. Little Daniel, I mean, they're both little characters.
Is that Daniel the brother?
Daniel's the brother, yeah. And I think personally, the way the whole ethos of the family, the way they gel and work together, and it's not just myself, we also have Mark's wife's uncle is on the team. It's very much a family affair. And then I work alongside another guy, Adrian. And Adrian and myself look after Rhys when we're at BSB.
Oh, that's just lovely. It sounds like so close-knit, and having those relationships, I guess, Mark, is really important because obviously it is a stressful thing, isn't it? This whole racing world, you're either preparing for something or trying to get the money together for something and whatever, and getting on with your team is so crucial.
It is, yeah. It's very, very stressful at times. We're a family-knit team, and the help that I get from people like Eddie, Adrian, David, I just wouldn't manage without them. They are the best team I'd consider that we could have. It's wonderful for Rhys and for Daniel to be able to be involved with people like that, and not just for the racing. They're very, very good role models for hopefully the future life that they're going to live. So having people like Eddie, Adrian and David around is really, really good for, I think, Rhys and Daniel and the whole team, to be fair.
So how did the whole rocket racing thing come about, and where did the name come from?
OK, our last name is Stevenson. Stevenson's Rocket the Train. I raced many years ago as a banger racer when I was in my late teens, and I was known as the Rocket, which was painted on the side of the car. Didn't do it for very long, couldn't really afford it. That's where it originated from, and I was also known as Rocket at school, nickname. When we started racing, or I started racing actually 15, 20 years ago when Rhys was first born, I was known as Rocket Racing in the paddock, and that's where it stems from now. Rocket Racing has stemmed all from that.
Oh, I love that. Again, it's something that goes way back, isn't it? And means so much to you as a family and as a team.
Yep, it is, yeah.
Someone actually identified that on the social media when it all got released. And they went, oh, I see, Stevenson and Rocket. Good play on words.
I would have worked it out, obviously. I mean, I would have worked it out eventually. And then just thinking about why you're over here, obviously, I know you have been over to the island before, Rhys, but obviously trying to get in as many laps and whatever. Should say we're speaking sort of 25th of March, we're doing this interview, and I think you have had every bit of weather thrown at you today, haven't you?
Yes. So we was actually, me and Milky was on a lap, just getting, my learning, getting my knowledge of the circuit, and we was out at Rancullen, and then the hail hit. We was not even in the car at that point. We was half a mile down the circuit just checking out, and we got wet and cold, but it's such different weather from what I'm used to at home. When I wake up at home, the weather that it is, you expect it all day, whereas here it's completely different.
Yeah, and that's another aspect, I suppose, of racing here on the Isle of Man, and no doubt you'll have listened to races over here which have been stopped by weather and whatever, and so there's a real mental preparation that you need to do for things like that, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of them. We're prepared for delays, weather delays and other delays as well. So fortunately, they don't race in the rain, but yeah, delays and changes are something we're going to have to get used to.
So tell us then how the whole TT thing came about.
Well, originally, it was a seed planted in my head a couple of years ago when we came over with Eddie and his team, and then we kind of went away from that weekend, and it was just sat in the back of my head, just on a back burner. And then the end of last year, it was just kind of decided, we'll just go give it a go. You know, we'll go over and apply for the Manx GP. So that's what we did. And then I got an email back not long afterwards saying that they wanted me here at the TT. So it was really quite a surprise, to be honest.
Rhys was lucky because he actually got it on the last day of interest. You were the last day of interest.
Yeah.
And Liz Warden, who's the race secretary for ARA, who works for the MGP, said he cut that fine.
Yeah.
That was all down to me, I'm afraid, because as well as known as Rocket Racing, we're also known as lastminute.com racing. So I put the entry in at the last minute, unbeknown to Rhys, and then it rolled on from there.
Yeah, I'm really pleased. Really
I would love to have been a fly on the wall when you got that confirmation through. Do you remember anything of it? Is it all a little bit of a blur?
I don't remember any of it, to be fair. I say we put the email in, the application of interest for the Manx GP, and I was at work, actually. I was washing up at work, and I got a message from Ed Wilson, just mentioning, asking why I wanted to do the Manx, what was the motive behind it. And I stressed that it was something I wanted to do for a future career, but we didn't think we could go straight to the TT. So I said that, and he was like, "Well, you can, and we want you there." So it was really quite a surprise. To say I was at work as well, it was pretty cool.
Where do you work?
I work. It's called the View Cafe Bar at Skegness. It's a cafe and bar right on the seafront.
Oh, beautiful. I've never been to Skegness, but people say it is really lovely and quite a touristy place.
Yes, yeah, it is. It's very seasonal, very, very seasonal, but it is beautiful. It's beautiful.
And then, Mark, as a parent, when you know that your son is going to come over here and race the mountain course, I mean, Eddie mentioned maybe sort of almost in two heads about it. What is it like when you know that this is what's going to happen?
I'm very apprehensive about it all. Obviously, I'm putting the bike together, having never done a bike for the TT before. Put a bike together a few times for other things, so I'm trying to get a lot of advice about that. But I am very nervous. Obviously, he's my little boy, love him to bits, but I want to see him do what he wants to do, prepared to do whatever I can to help him do what he wants to do, and I would really like him to make a success of it. So we're pretty much prepared to do anything we can to help him do it. This is why we are here. We just want to do it for him.
And Rhys, I think you've got a real sensible attitude, haven't you? You're not expecting anything of yourself this first year, and maybe not even the first couple of years. It's just about learning the course, learning that sort of way of life of what racing means over here.
Exactly. I just want to go down Bray Hill every lap with a massive smile on my face. That's what it's about for me. That's what the whole ethos of racing motorcycles is about, is just that massive smile and having so much fun. For me, the times will come in 5-6 years when I know the circuit intimately, and feel confident to push on. But for the most part at the moment, it's just to have that big smile on my face.
And as I say, been out with Milky today, and you've been working with John Barton as well. And what sort of learner are you when it comes to getting the track under your skin?
I'm definitely a doer. I'd much rather be doing it than either reading or watching about it. So I've been obviously at home watching a lot of onboards from seasons gone by, but then a lot on the game as well. I've done hundreds of laps on the game. It's not quite the same. It's never going to be quite the same, but it is an amazing platform to learn the circuit, to learn which direction it goes, and then to come here, I can put that all in practice. When I'm here for real, and hopefully it'll all slip together.
Mark, do you play the game as well?
No, I'm afraid I haven't.
You struggle to use the telephone.
I do, yeah. I used to play on the PlayStations back in the PlayStation 1 days and things like that, but it's all moved on a little bit from then. I'm pretty much around throwing spanners at the bike nowadays.
OK, what about you, Eddie? A bit of a PlayStation nut?
Not really. It's never been my bag. No, like I say, I'm a little bit older than Mark as well. So
just talk to me then about your expectations, I guess. I mean, Eddie, you've got some experience, obviously, of what it's like over here, but it's different, isn't it, with a different team and a different setup. So how do you prepare from your point of view?
We've built a great team behind us. We've got the fuel guy, Mr. Joe Brumfield, who lives in Douglas, very experienced pit crew, and has worked the paddock for over 20 years in the Manx Grand Prix. So we're sort of milking him for knowledge as well. Like I say, it's not what you know, it's who you know, which is a great help. I've got several friends on the island that I've met every time we've come over, even to the point where Rhys goes, "Do you know everybody?" Because I walk into a pub and the barmaid will be, "Eddie, long time no see." "Hiya, you're back over." But it's a different paddock to British Superbikes. The whole atmosphere, I think, on the island, in the paddock, is BSB. You have set times, you know you're going to be at that at a certain time. But it can be brilliant sunshine here in Douglas, but it's cancelled because it's raining in Ramsey. You may find that you have a period of time where you're allowed to practice, get reduced to 1 lap. So everything's in the hand of the gods. So I just want Rhys to go out there, and every time he goes round, learn, and he could just experience just wanting coming home and collecting his newcomer's medal and having a beer with him every night.
And Rhys, have you been over and watched the TT before?
Never.
Oh, really?
Never, no.
Oh, flipping heck.
I'm not even going to get to watch it before I do my first newcomer's lap. So I'm heading out, being chucked straight in the deep end. So I think it's going to be a great experience at the end of it, actually finally getting to watch it. But then it's going to be that sense of, I've never seen it. I don't know what it's like for real. Obviously I've seen and watched races and everything online, but say real life, never.
And what sort of racer are you when it comes to nerves before an event? Do you get nervous?
I do get very nervous. But say I can, sitting in the tent, the awning beforehand, the nerves are high. But
I think everybody does.
Yeah, oh yes.
You can't become complacent.
No, I think if you didn't get nervous, I don't think it's a bit like excitement. Nervous and excitement is very, very close. I think if you didn't get that, I don't think it's worth doing.
Exactly. But yeah, for me, the moment that the visor goes down, everything's gone. I'm only focused on the road or the circuit in front of me.
Are you a music listener? Some people like that to sort of get them in the right frame of mind?
No, I feel that distracts me from having to, think about what I need to do. I always try and do a lap of short circuits anyway. Try and do a lap in my head just to get my brain up to speed before I head out onto the circuit. But yeah, it's just dead silence.
And I guess, Eddie and Mark, for you, it's about managing the rider's mood in that situation, sort of knowing how to approach them, because it's things at a very high level there.
Yeah, I pretty much leave Rhys alone. I concentrate on making sure the bike's right, fuel's in the bike, make sure everything's all right. Think that side of things. I will speak to Rhys, just give him any information I think he needs prior to him going out, but I like to leave Rhys alone because I know how he likes to prepare, and also sometimes my advice isn't always the best advice. So he knows what he needs, and I let people get on with it.
But see, from my perspective, because I'm not part of the family, Rhys sort of looks at me as like a sort of a kind of adopted big brother. And one of my biggest hang-ups is hydration. So I make sure he hydrates, and he will listen to me because I'm not dad. You know what kids are like.
Dad and son sometimes knock heads together, don't they?
I mean, I was going to ask about that, and it must be difficult. Again, you've mentioned, Mark, it's a stressful thing, this whole life, isn't it? And there's bound to be, clashes potentially at times.
If I had my way, I would have nothing to do with his racing. I would just like to turn up as a parent, support him, watch him, go home. But I'm afraid we're not in the position where we can afford to pay teams to do that, so I do my best, what I can, to put a bike underneath him and allow him to go out there. And that's what it's all about for me.
Rhys, how good would you say you were at taking advice from Dad?
Honestly.
If 10 is great, we're talking in the minuses. We are.
Wow.
Yeah.
No.
So it is difficult, obviously, because I as a kid I used to watch him race, but no, I never got to see the experience that he had, from when he was my age, riding round bikes. probably a bit naughtily on roads.
Don't talk about the past like that.
But yeah, you know,
I'm glad I'm sat
the
in the
wealth of experience, you know, of being a mechanic and everything else, you know, is great. You know, the whole team I've got around me is unbelievable. You know, as I couldn't wish for anything better.
Considering we're all pretty much amateurs.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
I'm a HGV mechanic basically by trade. Can do cars, can do motorcycles as well, but nuts and bolts are all nuts and bolts. Some are bigger than others, so I just look at it and think, right, give it a try, see if it works, and usually it works. So Rhys will come to me and tell me if there's a problem, and if there's a problem I try and put it right. Can't always sort it and then go seek advice, but I do my best for whatever Rhys would like. And that's all you can do at the end of the day, isn't it?
It really is. And I guess this is something else that I suppose is going to be slightly different compared to what you've done before, is, you know, going out for those first few laps, particularly when you're on your own, Rhys, and sort of, you know, in that qualifying session, coming back and sort of downloading all the information that will be buzzing through your head, because it's an awful lot to take in.
Yeah, you know, and somewhere like Donington Park where you've got 10, 15, 20 corners maximum, you know, you've not got that much information, you know, to process through and write down. Whereas for me, my first laps are just pretty much going to be survive. You know, there's going to be so much information passing through from the feeling in my feet, my hands, my bum. You know, I've just got to try and take as much in as possible, but take in the most important bits.
That's a really good point, actually, sort of preparing physically for it's quite an endurance thing, isn't it, I guess, even just one lap round here?
Yeah, you know, one lap round here is the same as a full session of short circuit.
Well, also, you likened it to going from Skegness to London on the back roads doing 150 miles an hour.
Yeah. You know, it
sounds great. I don't know why I don't do it. No.
You know, it's one of them where physically I'm doing as much as I can to put some weight on. You know, I think that's going to benefit me in keeping the bike on the ground, you know, for as long as possible. You know, and like what a few riders have said to me, as well as Milky as well, it's your neck. You know, when you sit up out the bubble at 150, 160 mile an hour, the wind just tries to rip your head off. So I've got to find a way to strengthen up my neck a little bit, definitely.
And that's what's great over here, is there is a whole team once you get to the paddock, and the physios who are there to look after you beforehand and afterwards as well. I know they were doing ice therapy things last year as well. I don't know if you are a fan of cold water, but apparently that's helpful.
I'm absolutely not a fan of cold water.
Could you become one?
Maybe.
Embrace it.
Yes. Yeah, you know, when we was in with the Rookies Cup going all over Europe, they had, I can't remember exactly what it was called, but they had physios on site, you know, and so I was getting treated all the time for pains, for aches, you know, and same at BSB. You know, I can go into the medics there, they know me very well. I can go in there and say get any treatment that I need as a professional rider.
And there's all things like the arm taping to try and prevent arm pump and things like that. I mean, they are just phenomenal what they do.
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely. They know what they're doing.
Talk to me, Mark, about the sponsorship side of things and who you've got supporting you.
Yeah, we sort of pretty much rely on sponsorship. We have various different sponsors at the minute. We had quite a few for the BSB paddock last year. Some of them have moved on. We have a couple of good sponsors that we've kept, and we have a few people that seem to like to follow the team, which always seem to contribute to help.
You've got like Micrometric.
Yeah, Micrometric, which are a Lincoln-based company. They deal in a lot of micro technology for Formula One, motorcycle racing, things like that. There's another company called Plant Hire who deal with plant. They've been a sponsor of Rhys's for 2 or 3 years now. Very, very good.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is all down to just the public. We get a lot of help from the public, people that follow Rhys and want to see Rhys do well in motorcycle racing.
Because that's when I've jumped on board as well, because I've got a fresh field to harvest from in Bedfordshire. So I'm speaking to a few companies that I know, and also friends that I've known from the school that have started businesses, and I'm in talks with them currently as well about sponsorship. I've managed to obtain one sponsor, haven't I, that we're meeting at Donington that's going to give us some pennies.
Yes, hopefully, yes.
Which is nice. So that's another nice thing that I can bring to the team.
Yep.
And I think
like financial assistance.
we hear so often that actually people have this perception about sponsorship that it's thousands and thousands of pounds, but actually
It's not.
No,
anything
it's
helps.
not. No. We've had somebody actually come on board today for £150. They will get their name on the side of the bike, things like that.
Free T-shirt.
Yeah, free T-shirt,
Free
key-ring, beanie hat, yeah, you know.
You know, it's little things that go such a long way.
Yeah.
You know, lots of... A little bit like crowdfunding, you know, lots of little things make one big thing. You know, we are looking at thousands to run a race team, but, you know, every little helps.
we meet, so enjoy.
Oh, thank you. I've just been handed something here. Just tell me what this is.
That's one of the team key rings.
Lovely. Oh, I love that. That logo is absolutely brilliant.
You like it?
I do. I
Yep.
love it.
Yeah. It's our little rocket.
It was one of your best friends, wasn't it, drew it on the back of... I remember the very first races that I ever remember watching of my dad. He had that logo on the back of his leathers. You know, so it's like I say,
Yeah.
it's been a family thing
handed
for
down.
so long.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. And do you know, Rhys, just even talking to you, you've got such a maturity about you that I think you forget that you are only 20 and you've achieved so much already. Looking back over your career so far, what has been the highlight for you?
Probably meeting me.
I don't really know if there's any highlights or lowlights. You know, it just, to be honest, it kind of all blends into one big blur.
Was there one time on mini bikes where you had a race with a certain person?
Oh, and knocked him off.
I have raced against and beaten and knocked off Peter Hickman.
Oh, okay. Throw that in there.
That's, yeah.
Do you think he'll remember?
He definitely remembers.
Oh, he'll remember.
Yes,
Yes.
he does remember. What other things is there? There's probably the highlight, or the best feeling I've had is when it was my second podium at the British Talent Cup. It was at Silverstone MotoGP, so I was stood on the MotoGP podium. You know, it was the best feeling in the world at that point. But yeah, everything just seems to end up in one big blur. You know, with
really good fun racing.
Exactly. Yeah.
With a big smile on his face, and pretty much that's all we're interested in. This TT is Rhys coming back with a big smile on his face, saying, wow, I'm really enjoying this.
Exactly.
Because that's what it's all about, Rhys enjoying racing.
Yeah.
And he's looking forward to everybody come see him in the awning.
Exactly.
In the
Yes.
paddock.
Say hello in the paddock.
Yes.
Yep.
I think you'll be overwhelmed by that. You know, people absolutely love it. And I think, you know, especially if you've got things to give away and whatever. And you think, in some ways as well, you are going to be inspiring the next generation of racers. You know, these
Exactly.
kids who are going to come
Yeah,
along and just think, you know, you are incredible for doing what you do.
Yes.
I mean, he has quite an iconic crash helmet that he wears.
Oh, right, tell us.
I do, yes. So, obviously, where we're from is Lincolnshire, and for the past 3 or 4 years, I've had a big Lincolnshire flag plastered all over the top of my helmet. It is very, very visible. It is so bright. It's got reds, yellows, greens, and blues. I love it. I do love it.
To the point where at the end of the BSB season, one of the ones he used that had been used in an incident, so he could no longer wear, he did a raffle.
Online raffle.
Online raffle that created obviously some funds for Rhys to enable him to get another couple of helmets. And ironically, it was one of what was his name?
Andy Fletcher.
Andy Fletcher. Andy Fletcher was one of the guys who's probably one of the staunchest followers that you have.
Oh, yes,
And
yes.
they are avid fans.
They're always in our tent at the Superbikes, aren't
Yep.
they?
They are.
Yep. And it was quite nice to see him win it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
It was.
And when you get all your trophies and everything, where do you keep them?
In a box at the moment.
Okay.
In a box because
Not all of them.
Not all of them. I do give some away. I do put some up in my bedroom, but we are living in static caravans at the moment because we didn't build the house because all the money went on racing. So there's, in my little bedroom, it's about probably 2 by 3 metres. There is no space for anything in there. So
Apart from his Red Bull rookie leathers.
Yes.
Other mementos that you've got.
Yes.
So it's not exactly a small bedroom. It's a bit of a man cave.
It is. I'll send you some pictures. I've got no space really for any more trophies. So what happens is I win another one, I put it up and I take the one away and it goes in a box So it'd be nice to get a nice trophy room at some point, but we're talking years in the future.
Just buy another static caravan.
Yeah, hopefully in the future at some point we will build your mother a house and you will have a trophy room.
Yes.
Until then, I'm afraid
I've seen the plans. It's basically a massive garage that can contain 5 cars and 17 motorcycles with a 3-bedroom flat upstairs.
You see, he has got 3 brothers that actually all ride motorcycles. So Callum and Aidan twins, 11-year-old twins. That also race. They race on Mablethorpe Beach at present.
Actually, they've got a bit of a rivalry already.
They have.
They're very even. But Callum fell off and Aidan just ran him straight over the other day.
Yeah.
So they're arguing all the time about who's faster, aren't they? And
So,
but Mum loves it. Well,
Mum, actually, we haven't spoken about Mum yet, have we?
No,
we haven't spoken about Mum. Mummy of the paddock.
Yeah.
I wished her Mummy happy Mother's Day.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Like I did to my mother.
You did?
My mother,
Oh,
Jean.
really?
Hello, Jean.
I did, but it was a day late. And
Half-hearted effort, yeah?
Yeah.
Mum Tracey is actually more passionate about the motorcycle racing for Rhys, Daniel, Callum and Aidan than what I am. She wasn't interested in motorcycle racing at all when I was racing. She would bring Rhys every now and then to watch, but as soon as Rhys started racing, she is quite happy to do whatever it needs, whatever it takes.
Although she never ever wanted me to come over here, did she?
She didn't. She's very
She
apprehensive
hated it.
about this, but she will support whatever Rhys wants to do.
Will she be over?
No.
She won't. No.
No.
No, she doesn't like the thought of being over here whilst I'm,
Yeah.
Understandable.
She
Yeah.
can't. She will come on to, because she helps out massively in the BSV paddock, and she does come on to the pit lane during his races and Daniel's races, but she won't watch the races, she won't watch the screens, she won't do anything until she knows the race is finished and they're all good.
I totally get that. I get it.
Yeah.
It's quite a thing, isn't it? And just thinking, just almost circling back to the start of this conversation, Mark, and thinking about what's gone into this and the sacrifices that have been made as a family. But it just sounds like you were all so completely committed to it and clearly just love it so much.
Yep, that's it. Basically, it's the future for my 4 boys. So we are prepared to do whatever we can, whatever it takes, whatever it needs. And Tracey, their mother, is very, very much involved. She's actually more involved with the admin side than what I am. She keeps everything on an even keel and she makes it run smoothly. If it was left down to me, I'm afraid it would be a little bit manic and a little bit
hell on earth.
yeah, it would.
Is she the one that reads through the regulations?
No. Dad does all of that.
Okay.
He will read
Yeah.
them and read them again and again and again.
I'm a bit fanatical about regulations and I'm a little bit fanatical about how we prep the bike. Because I'm not a professional race bike builder, I question myself all the time. So I do things twice, 3, 4 times to try and make sure it's right.
Well, then check it again.
And check it again. Yeah, I must admit I'm a little bit fanatical about rules and I'm a little bit fanatical about the bike. But that's just me, I'm afraid. It's my little boy on the bike. I want it to be right.
Absolutely, that's exactly what you want to be, isn't
Yep.
it? And having that mindset is it sounds like it's perfect. I just want to ask you, have you still got any of your trophies?
I've got all of them still.
Are they in a box?
They're
Yeah.
in boxes,
Yeah.
yeah. I've got quite a few, yeah. Rhys didn't believe I was any good, actually, but...
No, and that's like a full circle, isn't it? Back to not taking any advice from you, isn't it? It's
This is it, yeah,
Wow.
I actually, when Rhys was born, like I said earlier, I started racing because I used to ride rather fast on the road and didn't know if I was going to get to see Rhys grow up because of that. So I thought, right, let's go I couldn't stay off a motorbike, so I thought, right, I'll go racing. It's a lot more safe than riding on the road. Really enjoyed it. Couldn't afford to do it particularly very well, but was reasonably successful for the few years I did it in the small class I did. So I've tried to pass as much information on as I can to Rhys. Whether he takes it or not is entirely up to him.
I've started
But-
taking it now.
You have, yeah.
Yeah.
But you have got a lot of good people and a really good coach in Andy Ibbott
Yes.
that is helping very, very much. And to be fair, Andy Ibbott, of all people, to coach Rhys, you couldn't wish for anybody better.
Andy.
I can't tell Rhys what Andy Ibbott can tell Rhys.
Do you know Andy Ibbott?
I don't know.
He taught
Wow.
Rossi for a
All right,
couple
then.
of days, I believe. But
Wow.
yeah, he's
California Race
he's
School.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
he was. I think he ran the California Race School for Keith codes in the UK. I think he spent a lot of time in America learning, and then did the Californian race school in the UK. Absolutely wonderful chap. Yeah. I think he's the best coach he could ever put.
Tell you what,
Rhys.
as well, he has had a few problems over his life. He's a couple of strokes and bits, so he does struggle, but he is unbelievable. He's climbed Mount Everest, he's done the London Marathon.
He's an inspiration, isn't he? He's an inspiration to anybody.
He is the most amazing man on the planet.
He's a lovely character as well.
Oh, yeah.
He's nice to have in the paddock with
He
you.
loves his custard creams as well.
Okay.
So if you ever see him, always offer him a custard cream.
All righty, have some in the back pocket just in case. And I guess it teaches you a lot about resilience, doesn't it? Which again is something that you need in buckets full in this sport.
Certainly. Yeah, there was the way he explains it. There was certain points, in his life that he just didn't want to be here, but then he's turned that around into inspiring me and my brothers and everyone else who knows him to, no matter what, you can keep going, you can be something amazing.
Yeah.
What a perfect way to end this. Just before we go, you mentioned sort of being out there and people following you on social media. Where is the best place for people to follow you?
I've got Instagram and Facebook. That is the names are just simply Rhys Stevenson Racing, and then we've got Rocket Racing also on Instagram and Facebook. I do have a TikTok account, again just under my name, but that's obviously for the younger generation.
Rhys, can I ask what's TikTok?
TikTok is.
I'm an old guy.
I don't really know.
I'll pass you back to Beth.
It's just another platform.
I'm just putting your leg there.
Rocket Racing is a good place to find what's going on in the team. Rhys, Daniel, and his younger brothers, because they all run out of the Rocket Racing umbrella. And obviously then Rhys Stevenson Racing.
And there's further details about the supporters club if people would like to come and jump on board,
and
join the club and get involved.
Yeah.
We need as much help as we can at the minute, whether it be financially or just advice,
or spiritually.
To be fair,
Yeah.
I don't really know what I'm doing.
Me
Eddie
neither.
does help, and Rhys probably knows less.
In immortal words of Joe Broomfield, we will be reet.
We will be reaped.
It certainly will be.
Steady away.
Thank you so much, as I say, for taking the time to come in. When are you heading back home?
I think we're going home tomorrow evening. Yeah, tomorrow evening. But we are definitely coming back end of April to do some more laps, just to finish off learning. And then
we've got a little testing weekend coming up, haven't we?
Yes, yeah. So we'll be testing at British Superbikes at Donington and at Alton. And then we'll be doing the Superbike season as well in the British Sportbike.
Nothing much then, yeah?
No, yeah.
Quite a few weeks and months.
Dad's just got to sell another kidney.
Yeah.
Do you know, Rhys, Mark, Eddie, thank you so much for being here. We can't wait to see you back over here towards the end of May, and best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks very much.
Rhys Stevenson, Mark Stevenson and Eddie Allen, who incidentally has got the best radio voice I think I've ever heard, all from Rocket Racing. We are going to be hearing much more from them over the next few months. And shout out to Tracey and the other three boys. Do you know, I can only imagine what life is like in their household. As ever, all the details to follow Rhys and the team are on the podcast page. They'll be tagged on the Startline social media as well, so do give them a follow. Well, thank you so much for downloading and listening to this episode of Startline, brought to you by the Manx Motorcycle Club. If you can, do follow the riders, the teams, the organisers and officials that we've been talking about. Your support really makes a difference. And if you'd like to get in touch, you can email Beth at startline.im.